Are you trying to buy a house? This video is for you. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Whitney Hansen. I'm a financial coach and host of the Money Nerds podcast, and today I'm going to teach you all the things you need to know to buy a house in 2021. Let's be real, this is a very different climate, very different market than what we've seen historically, so these tips are more appropriate for people that are trying to buy this day and age. So let's go ahead and dive in. I've got 5 steps for you. Let's go ahead and break down each of these. The first step is the easiest step. All you have to do is open up a high yield savings account. Do not go to your bank and just open up an average Joe savings account that pays you 0.25%. It's just not worth it. So make sure that your money is actually working for you as much as possible and that you're earning anything over 0.5%. It's not necessarily easy to find really good options right now, but first and foremost, you have to open up a savings account that's separate from all of your other savings accounts, separate from your checking account. It needs to be its own fund where you can then funnel away some money and not be tempted to spend it or feel guilty pulling it from a bigger savings account. Just trust me on this. It needs to be separate. Step 2 is one of my favorite steps, and that is to go contact a lender. So I like to view lending as almost a relationship-based business. I like to interview people because I find that every lender is a little bit different, and ultimately it's a huge purchase. So you really want to be comfortable with who you're working with. So start to interview some lenders, and then what you're going to ask them is, how much do I actually qualify for? You can tell them what monthly payment you're comfortable with and help them really run the numbers to see what you might be able to qualify for, if that's realistic or if you need to set your expectations lower or even higher. You never know. So that's a really great place to start to see what you can truly afford. Now, do keep in mind what you can truly afford on paper from a lending perspective might be different than what you're comfortable paying. Huge difference there. They will sometimes give you way bigger of a mortgage than you are even comfortable with. So it's up to you to look out for your own finances and say, this is how much I can truly afford. This is what makes me sleep best at night. What type of house can I get for this monthly payment? So they're going to give you an idea of what you qualify for. One huge important note, at this stage of the game, if you're just now getting started with getting ready to buy a home, do not have them pull your credit. You're not ready for that. You don't need that inquiry on your credit report. So you are just doing a little bit of pre-planning to see what you might qualify for. You can also talk to them about some of the different loan options. Maybe you qualify for a first-time homebuyer program where it lets you get into a house with 3.5% to 5% down. It's a sweet program and you might qualify for it. There's also closing cost assistance. There's like lots of different things out there. So that's why it's so important to have a lender in your back pocket. So, is that the right term? It makes me sound like a grandma here. You want a lender on your team so that they can help you determine what you qualify for, what's best for you, and ultimately how much you might need to save. Okay, this leads me to step 3. We are in a very different market all across the US specifically. I don't know about other parts of the world, but I know here, if you are in another part of the world, tell me how your housing market is. I'd be really curious to learn if it's similar to what the US is experiencing. So there are so many different houses out there that immediately are getting bought up within seconds. And a lot of these people are not even looking at the houses. We are 100% in a seller's market. I have so many real estate agent friends that tell me that all of the houses that they're selling are going for $10,000, $20,000, even $40,000 above the asking price. It is absolutely bonkers, but that's the reality that we're living in right now. So because it's a seller's market, you as a buyer need to be prepared for this. You need to actually go in with enough money to cover all of the closing costs and be expecting to pay full price, because it is just not that type of market right now where you can negotiate, you can do closing costs split 50-50. You might be able to, and it's worth pursuing for sure. But from what I'm seeing and hearing, a lot of this stuff, it is not super buyer friendly right now. So you as a buyer have to be a little bit more prepared and be prepared to save up enough for all of the closing costs, worst case scenario. It sucks, but it's a smart way to go. Okay, step 4 now is we got to set a goal, a timeline, and ultimately a little monthly target so you know exactly how much you need to be saving per month. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take all of the information that you learned from your lender and also from the closing costs, and you're gonna add all of that stuff up to see how much is the total nest egg that you need to save to get into your home. Once you have that in mind, let's say it's $30,000, then you can take that, divide that by your timeline, maybe it's 3 years, and you can say, okay, I have, let me pull up my calculator here. So you want $30,000 in 3 years. So you got to save 10,000 bucks per year, divide that by 12. $833 per month. That's how much you need to be saving if you want to buy a home within 3 years. Now, if it is 3 years out, don't forget to factor in sometimes appreciation. If you're in an area where the real estate is appreciating even more, you might even need to save a little bit more money for that too. So you could also factor in another 10% on top of that $30,000 to kind of cover your butt just in case things do increase, which, let's be real, they probably will. So that's where you can start. Now you have your $833 per month is your goal. And from there, you can start to figure out, how are you gonna make that a reality? Do you need to side hustle? Do you need to pick some extra shifts up at work? Do you need to sell some stuff around your house? Do you actually need to scale back your expectations of having your home? Maybe you can't afford $800 a month and you actually need to save $500 a month. All of these factors are so personalized that it's really hard to give a blanket answer of how to approach this. But for a lot of people, it's going to require a lot of lifestyle change and for you to adjust some things in your daily life so that you can hit that monthly target. Now, the last step, and I think this is probably the most important step for anybody that is trying to buy a home, is to try on your new payment. What I mean by this is live as if you have that payment for a little bit of time. Let's say you're paying $1,600 a month for rent right now, and your payment would increase to $2,000 per month if you bought your own home. So that $400 difference might seem small, but it can really impact your finances in a significant way. The best way to see if it actually impacts you is to immediately try that on. Pretend like you're paying $2,000 a month as of today and see how that feels. Does it make you really kind of cringe in your stomach and you're like, oh, this sucks, I can't really afford it? That's a good indicator that you might need to either lower your expectations or maybe now's the great time to get that new job. Whatever your situation might be, trying it on before you buy the place and signing up for a 15 to 30-year mortgage, that's a big commitment. And this is a really great way to see if it makes you sleep okay at night, honestly. That is 5 steps to helping you buy your first home in 2021 and getting all the things in order so that you are ready financially for this big decision. It's such an exciting time. I'm cheering you on, and I hope that these tips were helpful if you're just now shopping for a home.